They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
Alright, so what's going on, guys? Back here with another video. Sorry there was no Sunday video. I've been very busy. I've been clocking a lot of overtime working on this place that I'm renting out. And just, I'm exhausted. Truly exhausted. But I have been doing some pickups, so that's what today's video is, just some pickups. And haven't been streaming. Been slacking on that ever since I moved, just because I'm trying to, like, you know, get this place ready and whatnot. And you know, and then we just refinished the entire shop where I work. We just stripped all the flooring out, redid the flooring, painted the walls, just everything. The whole shop looks great, but it has been exhausting for the last 2 weeks. That's what I've been doing. So I did do some pickups, traded in some stuff, but to start off, I got these 4 titles for 60 bucks. And the first one, this was at that one store that I picked up those 2 boxed N64 games for $10. So I went back in, I was like, hey Earl, you remember me? And then he's a comical guy. He turns around and he goes, well, I'll remember you if you don't have a gun. And obviously he was joking, and then he did remember me. And so he had some games stashed away for me. He had Doom, the original. However, on the bottom of it says Custom PlayStation Edition. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if this is some kind of weird, not real PlayStation game. However, the disc looks real. The manual looks real. But what throws me off a little bit, and I don't know if I have one to display, but the green on the greatest hits looks a little lighter. So I don't know if it's sun faded or if this really is like a custom edition that somebody bootlegged and made. So I don't know. But happy to get that nonetheless. It does work and it is Doom, so can't really complain about that. Now these next 3, I was very excited to get these. I've been wanting these in my collection for a long time. One of these, which I will be showing first, is this one, is touted as the greatest RPG of all the time. And they're making a remake on the PS4 and PC, I believe. Definitely PS4, I'm pretty sure PC. Maybe even Xbox One, I'm not positive. But I've always wanted to play it, and I honestly feel like I want to play both. I want to play the original and play the remake once it eventually comes out. So these next 3 that I got are all in succession, but they don't actually continue in story. You probably already know what it is, but I've been looking for this for a very long time, this one copy, and it's Final Fantasy VII. So the case is absolutely destroyed, but the manual is mint. And this is a 3-disc game, and I know that this was a one-owner just for the simple fact that, like, it still has, all 3 of these games came together, so it still has this thing in it. So they had to have been a one-owner, and I'll explain more at the, here in a minute on how I know this. Shit, I can't even close this thing. But yeah, I've been really wanting to get these games for a long time, and I've really been wanting to get into RPGs, and obviously this is pretty much a good starting point. Then the next one is Final Fantasy VIII. Now, something I didn't know about this one, and I believe Chris Miller's CM Retro, he just picked this up himself. It's a 4-disc game, which it tells you on the front. All the discs are good. This case is dirty, but there's not really too many cracks in it, so that's nice. So this does have one manual here, but then it also has a secondary manual, which I wouldn't have known about unless it were for CM Retro. So, props to him for letting me know that. It's like a mini walkthrough one. So that's kind of cool to get that as well. So yeah, I wouldn't have known that. And that's what's great about the YouTube community. You know, watching other people's videos, you learn things that you just didn't know and wouldn't recognize in the wild. So, that one is complete as I call it. And the final one being Final Fantasy IX, I believe that would be 9. IX, I guess that's 9, I don't know, because 10 is on PS2, so this has to be 9. I heard a lot of people don't like these 2 as much, but I've heard also that people really love this one more than 7. So let me know which one I should play first, because I know it doesn't really matter as far as, like, they don't continue to each other by any means. Graphically, obviously, 8 and 9 look better than 7 and so forth, but so this one as well, there's a small crack on the top and a nice one on the back, but the discs are all really good, and the manuals are minty. So that's got the front manual, and it's got, see, I wouldn't have known about this unless it were for Chris either, play online thing, and this has like a registration card in it, I think, or I don't know. But yeah, so I'm very excited to get these and jump into these. So that was some PS1 games I picked up. Alright, so then, got 3 Dreamcast games. I rarely pick these up, but these were all a pretty good price except for this first one. So as you know, Bad Company, if you follow him, he's basically only plays RPGs for the most part. So whenever I find one in the wild, and one, if I don't know anything about it, I always just text him or whatever. So I immediately texted him about this game. It's called Time Stalkers. I played it for about 40 minutes. It looks like a cool game. The disc's actually in my Dreamcast. Minty copy, like the cleanest Dreamcast game I've ever seen in my life. Sadly, I paid $30 for this, or $35, and I texted him. He was like, yeah, it's probably about a $15 game. So kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Now these next two I knew about and I've wanted for a while. I believe this was a launch title for the Dreamcast, and that's Blue Stinger, also in mint condition. I think I paid, well, actually I didn't pay anything for these two because that Dreamcast that was in the contest I ended up trading in for 2 Dreamcast games, and I think that was it. I just traded in for these 2 Dreamcast games. They're in mint condition, so, and I wanted to get rid of it anyway because I just don't need to have 2 Dreamcasts. But Blue Stinger, so this is some kind of, you land on an island with like dinosaurs, and you can play as this white guy, and then I think there's also a black guy you can play as, and you just fight monsters. So there's 2 protagonists, and you just fight monsters on an island. I don't really know the story behind it. Now this one, the Evolution, the World of Sacred Device, it's kind of a strange title, is an RPG of sorts, but I think, so I guess this might be like a turn-based RPG, I'm not honestly sure. But it looks cool nonetheless, and I know this is on the GameCube as well, but I don't know, it's probably cheaper on the Dreamcast anyway, so I want to get this one, or I have this one, and I think the second one might be exclusive to the GameCube, but it might also be on the Dreamcast, I'm not sure. But if you've played any of these, or Time Stalkers, definitely let me know, because I need to just start playing more of these games that I'm picking up. So I'm kind of winding down, even though it looks like I'm picking up a lot of games, I'm kind of winding down so that I can actually just get into these games a little bit more and enjoy them. But this is one that I've been wanting to play for a while, and that's 007 Everything or Nothing. And I picked this up, it was like $6 I think for the GameCube. So really cool. This is like a third-person James Bond game. When I put the first disc in, it didn't fucking work, and I was pissed because it looked, there was no scratches on it. So I was like, well, what the hell? The GameCube's fine. It's my original GameCube, and I put multiple other games into it to make sure it works, and it does, or they did, and this didn't. So they actually mailed me a copy, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting them to do that because they're probably about 50 minutes away from me, so not terribly far, but not close to where I want to drive right back and get my game. So that was really cool of them that they did that. And then I picked up Destroy All Humans 2, the last pickups video, and I found Destroy All Humans 1 at this store as well. So really excited to get that. I jumped into this and I'm about 3 hours deep. I'm loving it. I'd really love to see another bigger, meaner version of this where it's just like GTA sized, where you just run around as an alien destroying all the humans. Alright, now these last 2. Originally, if you follow the channel long enough, you'd know that I'm doing, well, I had started to collect Sega Saturn stuff and kind of just fell off to the wayside because I just never find them, period. And then when I do, they're missing the manual, or it's just disc and manual and no case, or it's just disc, or, you know, some variant of that and whatnot. But I actually ended up picking up 2 complete mint copy games for the Saturn. And that's Sega Touring Car Championship. The graphics in this game are actually pretty awful. They have not stood the test of time, but with a FrameMeister they look okay. I actually enjoyed the game though. It's pretty cool. It's just a simplistic little racing game that's just like a fun little pick up and play game. Now this last title that I picked up here is something I saw Tight White picked up in the long box for the PS1. And apparently that version is really rare, but I YouTubed it to figure out what it was and see what type of game it was and this and that. I'm not huge into the PS1, although I did just pick up 4 games for it, but I like the Saturn more myself. It's just more of a, I don't know, it just always grabbed me more than the original PlayStation. But so that Crusader No Remorse game came out on the Saturn as well, so it's the long box is rare on the PS1 evidently. It's not rare on the Saturn, but this is a mint copy, so I'm cool with that. These were both $10 each, so really good deal. And there's no cracks in these at all or anything, or this one either. So really awesome, and I'm super glad to get that. I played that for a few races, and then I played this one for about a half hour. This is definitely a cool kind of like, I'm not gonna say hidden gem, but kind of like nobody talks about it, but it's kind of it's a really unique game. So it's made Syndicate, which came out in 2011 by EA, might have been 2012, somewhere in that ballpark, was a spiritual successor to an actual game called Syndicate, but it plays in a totally different style. This was the actual spiritual successor to Syndicate back in the day. This came out in 93, and the original Syndicate came out in like 91 or 92. But this is a really cool game, and look up some gameplay for this. Well, actually, I think I might have recorded some. I don't know. I'll have gameplay in here if I did or didn't. That's how I've always wanted to do my pickup videos, but it's very time-consuming to do that. But definitely give this a look if you happen to have a Saturn and want to pick up some games that are cheap, or you can get it on the PS1 as well. I don't think it's on the 64, and it probably is on the PC as well. You might be able to find it on like GOG. And what else? Oh, now something that I really want to encourage all my subscribers to buy above and beyond any of the games in my collection that I recommend or this or that. One of my favorite developers is Ninja Theory. Now they've released Heavenly Sword, which is a really cool launch title PS3 game, or launch window. I don't think it was a launch title, it was launch window. I remember when my buddy picked that up, and I watched him play, and I was just like, fell in love with it, because it's a really cool game. It's kind of like God of War, it's kind of, I don't know, it's got its own spin to it, but Heavenly Sword. Then you had one of my favorite 7th generation games. I don't really know where to number it. I've got so many favorite games, but it's definitely up there in the top 50 favorite games for me, and that's Odyssey to the West. Was it Odyssey to the West? Yeah. Odyssey to the... No. What the hell is that game called? Yeah, Odyssey to the West. I have that on 360, PS3, and PC, because I just love it that much. And then Ninja Theory also did the 5th DMC Devil May Cry game, which I know if you're like an original fan, you're not hot on that, and it's not cool. But if you're a new fan, I cannot recommend that game enough. All 3 of those games, I cannot recommend them enough. I've played that DMC game 3 times all the way through. I've played Odyssey to the West, I don't even know how many times through. Heavenly Sword I've only beat 1 time because it hasn't aged the best, but I do recommend trying it 1 time. And if you like it, play it freely as you want. But it is a very good game nonetheless. It has a lot of weird 6-axis controls because Sony was really pushing that at the beginning of the PS3. But so those 3 games came out. Now, if you're not aware of this, I should have had this pulled up if I was more professional. So, Ninja Theory recently released Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I don't have it yet because I'm waiting till I get paid tonight at midnight, and then I will be buying it tomorrow for the PC. The reason I'm not buying it for the console is because it's digital only. It's going to look better on my PC, so I may as well just do that. I'll never be able to own this game physically, even if Limited Run Games does it. They're going to make 2,000 copies of it, and there's going to be a couple 100,000 people wanting that game. So I'm never going to get it. So, you Limited Run Games. But with that being said, I do recommend this game. I haven't even played it yet. It's been getting phenomenal scores. But the reason I want you guys to get it is because they're trying to bring back something into the industry that we're really lacking. We basically have your huge AAA games like The Division and Call of Duty and For Honor and that kind of shit, but you don't have, and then you got your indie stuff like Axiom Verge, which just came out, announced for the Switch with a nice limited edition. They canceled the Wii U one, like I predicted, and pre-ordered that as well. I'll get into this pre-orders that I've done here recently in a minute, but So you got your indies at the bottom, which, by no means I just picked up Cave Story recently. I'm loving that. I just pre-ordered Axiom Verge. I cannot wait to play that. I've wanted that game physically on a Nintendo system for so long so that I can actually play it, because it's a Metroidvania style game. So I really want that. And apparently it's just like a huge love letter to Metroid. So I can't wait to play it. And then, other indies periodically, like Octodad. I fucking love Octodad. Another game that I really cannot recommend enough. The music to that. It's just like, you just get it stuck in your head. It's just such a catchy song. If you play that game, there might even be a demo for it. I think there is on the PC, which I have it on PC and physically on the Vita and the PS4, because Octodad is a great game. And I actually have the tie that came with the limited run. One of the few limited run games that I still own. But yeah, so they're trying to bring back like a third tier of games here, where it's AAA visuals, but pumped out at a quicker rate, even though this one did take them 5 years to develop. But I think some of that was, getting the Unreal Engine license and doing other random things like that. But I really want you guys to support them. And, whether you buy the game on like G2A or Green Man Gaming or GOG, if it's even on there, or if you buy a key online on eBay, I don't really care how you buy it. It will show numbers that are buying the game, and it'll motivate these smaller developers. Like, hey, dude, we really can develop, an indie AAA game, and people will support us, and they won't be so fearful to do it. And maybe we will get back to the 6th generation of gaming, where you would get, Splinter Cell on all the systems. You would get, just I don't know, you would just get all these great games came out there in the 6th gen. If you didn't grow up in the 6th generation of gaming, like, I almost feel sorry for you, in the sense that, like, you missed out on truly the greatest gaming generation, because you could pretty much pick up any game for the PS2, the Xbox, and the GameCube, for the most part. The GameCube, sometimes you didn't get it toward the tail end of the GameCube, but like, all the games looked the same for the most part. I mean, Xbox always looked a little better. GameCube had faster loading, and then PS2 always just sold the most copies. But, it was just always on all the platforms, and there was no stupid console wars, and, the developers just, they thought up unique ideas, and then they, if they stuck, they'd continue with them, and it wasn't just the same shovelware over and over and over again. But from what I've heard about Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade, it's just got an engrossing, emotional, deep lore to it, and you can just go find all these little like runes and hear stories and get backstory and this and that. And I cannot wait to play it, to be honest with you. I really want to buy it today, but I'm trying to control myself into waiting until I get paid. But yeah, I can't recommend that enough, and so I really do recommend picking that up. And then as far as pre-orders goes, I've been doing a little bit of pre-ordering. The way I recommend pre-ordering is doing it on Amazon, because you don't get charged until it ships, which is really awesome. Because if you want to change your mind, if you decide, hey, I don't want this later on, you cancel it. You don't really have to worry about anything, because your order's good to go. You didn't even get charged for it till it gets shipped. However, you don't get the discount unless you have the Prime, which I don't have Prime. I do have Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked, which actually expires in October, so I need to do that. I can't even tell you how many hundreds of dollars I've saved from Gamers Club Unlocked. I really can't. But so I pre-ordered Ni no Kuni 2 Collector's Edition, which I'm really excited for. I need to actually go through and beat the first game. I got about maybe 6 to 8 hours deep into that, and I really liked it. I don't remember what happened. Something came out, and I just gave up on it. It took me a long time to track down an original, non-platinum hit copy of it at a cheap price, because Ni no Kuni original is kind of, it's not rare, but it's hard to find, because it's almost like the Final Fantasy VII of the PS3 generation as far as JRPGs go. From what I understand, it's just an amazing game that everybody loves, which I do like it. I just haven't beat it yet enough to love it. But I pre-ordered the collector's edition for Ni no Kuni 2 because it just looks badass, and I seen it, and I was just like, I gotta have it. And it has kind of wanted me to track down the original one, which I might, but if you eBay that, it's pretty expensive, so it's probably not going to happen. But pre-ordered that. I pre-ordered what else? Oh, Axiom Verge for the Switch, which I'm really excited for. And then I also pre-ordered what is it called? Sora Moni or something like that for the Switch. It's a shmup, and it's coming out physically for the Switch. If you click on Axiom Verge on Amazon, more than likely it'll say in the frequently bought together thing. That's how I knew it was coming out for the Switch. I've known about the game, but it had no physical edition. It's getting one on the Switch in North America. Couldn't resist. So that, and both of them are cheap. Axiom Verge with a nice collection. It comes with like an art book, a CD, and a nice like plastic box or a cardboard box, and $40. And then the shoot 'em up game is $20 to $30, so super good prices. And then the last thing I pre-ordered, which just got announced yesterday, around 12ish o'clock, and I look at my Twitter on my phone, I'm freaking the fuck out. Freaking out. If you guys aren't aware of this, Metroid Prime is my second favorite game under Donkey Kong Country. But I love Samus as a character and Donkey Kong. So Samus being one of my favorite video game characters, when they announced a 3DS with her on it, had to get it. Just had to have it. So I pre-ordered that. It's a new 3DS XL. It'll probably be one of the last new 3DS XL customs that comes out. And I mean, I think they already canceled they stopped production of the new 3DS, the regular. So the new 3DS XL will probably cease production by the end of the year, I would imagine. So this might be one of the last custom 3DSs you can get. And it's Samus, so I couldn't resist. Hopefully it comes with the IPS screens, the TN panels. If you're big into the 3DS game like I am, you'll know that and just gaming in general, TN panels kind of suck. IPS panels give you better viewing angles, which with the 3D and a handheld, you're going to want. The Switch has an IPS screen on it. You just get better viewing angles. So like, but it's like the Silicon Lottery with CPUs and overclocking and stuff. You're just never going to know if your 3DS is, you know, when you open it, you'll know, but you'll never know until you open it if you've got a good 3DS or a shitty one. And the reason that happens is because typically when they make 3DSs, they're made in two separate factories, even though they're exactly the same. So one company will use, you know, blah, blah, blah screen, and the other one will use cha-cha-cha. Oops, so the camera cut out on me there, guys. I forget where it cut out. But the 3DS, what I pre-ordered, Axiom Verge, Ni no Kuni 2. Very excited to get all those things. And that's pretty much it. Videos are going to be kind of slower because I'm just very busy getting overtime, fixing up the house, like I said. But again, try to play that game if you can. They really deserve our support because I already, without even playing it, I already know that they put their love and devotion into making that game, and I can't recommend it enough already, and I haven't even played it. But other than that, it's been getting 9s out of 10, so it's probably a good game, safe to say. But that's probably going to do it for this video. Those were the pickups. Look forward to a Sunday video if I can get around to it. If not, there'll definitely be a Wednesday video next week. So with that being said, peace out for now. Till next time.
Come here, you mother...